Hello and welcome to Quilt Addicts Anonymous. I'm Stephanie Soebbing.
I'm Stephanie Brennan.
And I'm Courtney Berry.
And this is maybe the least favorite video we've ever filmed because we're all about to measure our bodies on camera for you. So that way you guys can see how to measure yourself when you're doing garments at home. So this is part of our intro to garment sewing. And Stephanie B is going to be taking you from here after this video. She actually went to school to learn how to do these things.
I did.
So in our next set of videos, we're going to actually be making skirts. We're going to have a skirt that's elastic waistband all around, and then one that has a flat front and an elastic back. So they're all pull-on, no zippers. Great for if you're just getting started. But first we have to figure out what size we need to make. So the purpose of today, why we're all up here, is we wanted to give you 3 different body types. So that way, no matter where you fall, if it's somewhere in between, or if you look like one of us up here, you know what you're supposed to be looking for, and you can get a proper fit, because that's why we make our own clothes, right? So it can fit right.
Yeah, for sure.
So, all right, we're gonna let you take it from here. We are tethered together with microphones because my boom mic didn't arrive in time. So it's gonna be a little more awkward than it already is.
So this is going to be an adventure. So for the skirt patterns, the only measurement that you really need is your waist. But because with garment sewing, you need your bust, your waist, and your hip, we're going to go ahead and show you how to get that. So the most important thing is you need to wear the clothes that you are conceivably going to be wearing with the garment that you're going to be making, so you can kind of get the right measurements, because, you know, our bodies are different depending on what.
My waist will go down a full 2 inches if I have the correct undergarments on.
Right.
So you get those Spanx and you get the corset, and it just right in there. But that's not going to work if I need like this one. I'm not gonna do that for a flowy skirt.
Right. So we're going to start with the bust. So Stephanie, if you can put your arms straight out like this. You want to go over the largest part of the bust and make sure that it is straight all the way around. And then when you're measuring it, you want to pull the measuring tape not super snug. Like, you don't want to squeeze it. It should be like the same with the clothes that you're wearing, which is why you want to wear something form-fitting. You want to get as accurate as you can. I would say probably to the quarter. So across the largest part of the bust, I have 41 3/4 of an inch.
That is not surprising to me. All right, so I have scoliosis, and it's a pretty severe curvature. You probably have never noticed it, but my shoulders aren't the same height, and neither is my waist. So I have a waist here, and I have a waist here, depending on what side we're going for. And I think that's a good indication that everyone's body might be a little different and how your clothes turn out. So
Yes.
how would you measure my uneven waist?
I would probably pick one and measure straight across from that one.
Okay.
And it's completely up to you which one you want to go with. Generally, when you're measuring somebody's waist, what you want to do is find the smallest part, which is usually going to be right above your hip bones. I graduated college in 2009 when hip huggers were all the rage. And when we were learning how to measure our waist, you would not believe how many women wanted to measure around where they wear their pants. That's not necessarily where your waist is. You want to find your pelvic bones, your hip bones, or something else you can do is stand up straight and then turn, or bend rather. And where that crease is, where you bend, that's where your waist is. That's where you want to measure.
I normally measure myself tighter than this because I want to feel good about the number.
Well, you want accurate. So we've got 37.
37. This is what happens when you have 2 babies in a business. You don't have time for the things.
But you know what? It happens. All our bodies change over time, so we're going to need to measure a lot.
Does. I remember when it was 28.
All right, so for hips, just a quick explanation. You want to go with the fullest part of your hip area, and that could be, depending on your body type, could be in one of 2 places. For most women, it is right along your hip bone, right here, right at your curve. For some women, it's actually down here at the top of your leg. So depending on the garment that you're looking for and the fit, you want to figure out which one of those is going to be the best one. For these skirts, doesn't really matter a whole lot, but if you were going for something more structured, yeah, if you're going for something more structured, you probably want to go with like on me, the larger part is down here. So I'm going to go with that.
I feel like my larger part is also down here. Ignoring the phone that's currently recording your audio. Hip width apart on the feet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like hip to shoulder width apart. All right, and again, same thing, measure it straight and taut. All right, and I've got 44.
Alrighty. So we have our measurements. And there's all kinds of other measurements too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, these are going to be your basic ones that most patterns are really going to build off of.
We also have talked about one of the later segments when we're filming are going to be how to figure out what you need to hem it to without having to try it on.
Yes.
So why don't we do that measurement real quick?
Okay.
Just so that way people can see how that's done.
Okay. And the reason that we
I imagine I need to be sideways for this one.
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason why we do that is because, you know, most women are not the same
This is different
from the
curve.
front to the hem, wherever that's going to be, and the back. You know, because we've got, you know, we have bums and we have and our bodies change.
You know, it's not baby weight when the child is 2. It's just weight. But it's here, and it's all good. So
But childbirth changes your bodies
it
forever.
changes your body, and we got a beautiful baby out of it.
Yes.
So it's fine.
Yes. So for the front seam, you can actually measure in one of two places. You could measure here in the front from the waist to we're going down to the knee, which we're at 21. You could also measure along the side seam. So it just kind of depends on whatever you're more comfortable with. And then for the back, again, find the waist. We've got 22.
Okay.
So, and that's very, very
It was
normal.
a 1-inch difference, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
And that's very normal. And we like to do that because especially with skirts that are like shorter, like at knee length, they're a little bit shorter. When you're walking around, it's going to be a little bit longer or a little bit shorter in the back. So just allow for that extra fabric.
sounds good.
So,
All right. Well, I think Courtney is up next.
yeah. All right. So now we have Courtney here. We have another body type. We're going to just do the exact same thing. We're going to do bust, waist, and hips. And then we'll go ahead and do front length and back length. So if you want to go ahead and put your arms up. See, it's good to do this in front of a mirror because it's a lot easier to look at the mirror and see it.
Okay.
All right, we'll go to the waist.
Now I have a very high waist.
Yep, you do.
A lot, but it's also long. So things never quite fit me right when I buy store-bought. I think that my waist should be higher somehow, even though my waist is still high.
All righty. Well,
So yeah, that's larger than
we
I
need
told
to-
you, because the last time I measured myself, it was different.
And then the hip. So you have the hip bone, which is right here, or the top of the leg, which is going to be closer to here. And on Courtney, it looks like these are actually pretty close. Would you
I would agree. Yep. Not a lot of curving going on.
So where I'm measuring is going to be closer to the hip bone. All right, and so for the front and the back hem, all right, so find the waist again to the knee. I have 25, 26 in the back.
Alrighty, you're gonna talk me through this because I've
All right.
only done this on formless children.
All right, so look at the front and the back being plus size especially. You want to make sure that you're looking at the fullest part of the back as well. Straight line, fullest part of the bust.
Okay. So looks like we got it there and here. Where is your waist?
So the waist, easiest thing to do, this is going to sound really, really awkward, just kind of follow the crease. Now on me, because this is I am plus size, it is not going to be straight. I have what's referred to as a B belly. So you have, your pudge here, and then you have your pudge here. And I bend right in the middle of that. So you can see, I think it's here especially, you can see that it is curved, but that is where the waist is. So for our purposes today, this is fine because this is where the skirt is going to land. For garments that are much more form-fitting, what you want to do is measure straight across and then measure the difference.
All right, so right here. Now where do we want to put it for?
Keep it the same in the back
Keep the same in the back.
and then the fullest part of the belly.
This one is a 4-inch difference.
Okay. And then measure the distance from here to the level of the crease.
Okay, 5 inches. So what do we do with all those 3 measurements?
So what you'd want to do is if there's a really form-fitting, like tailored jacket or shirt or dress, where the waistline is going to be, you want to take into account those measurements. So if the waistline is here, you want to go probably around to the belly because that's where the garment is going to fit, and then take that into account when I'm talking about the hem.
So that extra 5 inches would be added to the length of the garment then?
Yeah.
Instead of the width?
Right.
So we measure to the fullest, we add the 5-inch to the hem and
Yes.
the length. So when you're talking about like this measurement, or you're going over the bust.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Alrighty.
So.
Hip time.
I'm going to be down here closer to the top of my legs for the
Okay.
hip. And just stand at a comfortable stance, like feet hip length to shoulder width apart.
So for this pattern, we really want it to be inclusive of everyone. So we are going to, in the next video series, Stephanie's going to be walking you through how to make an elastic waistband skirt where it's elastic all around. So this one is super simple. We are literally going to take what? The waist and the hip to knee, or the waist to knee.
Yep.
And just add a few things to figure out what this is going to be.
Yep.
And so this works for kids. This is going to work for all body types. It'll be super easy to adapt and not a lot of steps, right?
Right. Yeah. Very, very versatile, very simple.
So in the next series, Stephanie's going to be walking you through, well, Stephanie Brennan, because
Brennan.
obviously I'm Stephanie, she was a little confusing, but she's going to be walking you through all the steps to make this skirt. And then if you want to go from there, we also have this pattern that Stephanie has designed, and this goes from size, is it 4 to 30?
Yep.
4 to 30. So we are hitting all the size ranges, and Stephanie's going to talk you through how to customize it to fit you and how to make it work so that you can feel really good about your garment. The difference between the two is we are going to have a flat front waistband here, and we're going to be working with some darts. So definitely feel free to start with this one, maybe make some of these for the littles in your family or one for you, and then you can graduate up to this one. Everything's pull-on, there's no zippers. So those are going to be the next two series that we're going to be going through, and you are in good hands with Stephanie. So next week we'll come back and she will be the one walking you through how to make your first garment. All right, until next time,
Happy quilting.
and garment sewing, since that's what we're doing here.